Hello everyone. So today we are going to see name SQL queries. So these are the database software specific SQL queries. So if any operation is not possible with the HQL or JPQL queries, then we need to use the native SQL queries. So these queries based persistence logic is database software dependent persistence logic. Using these queries we can perform insert operation, and it also support the positional as well as named parameters. Each native SQL query is represented by native query object. So to execute the native queries SQL query, we can use the list method. Similarly, to use the native SQL node select query, we can use execute update method. So these queries goes and execute in the database software directly with minimal conversion, because database software understands SQL query, that is, this gives good performance. So if any query is not possible using HQL or JPQL queries, and you have knowledge of native SQL queries, that is according to the database. Suppose we are using MySQL database and you know the SQL query but you didn't know the HQL query, or the query is not possible with the help of HQL, then in that case you can use this native query. So it will give the good performance because there is a minimal conversion, because it is a database software dependent. So executing native SQL queries we will see, and this also supports these positional parameters, like, and also support the JDBC style positional parameters, as if you learn the JDBC, in that, in the case of prepare statement we use like this, and also it supports the named parameter. So let's see the example for this. So here I am using Eclipse ID. So here what we will do, we will create one my own project. So go to the file, go to the new, and in the new, here we have to create the my own project. So here new my own project, then click on next. Then in the filter we have to check this quick start, then click on next. Here artifact ID means name of the project we have to give. So named SQL queries I will write here. Then package name I will take as a com.test, and group ID I will take as a com.test. So we have to click on finish. Now in order to use the Hibernate, we have to take some dependencies. So here this dependency we have to take. So I will give link of this in the description. You can see that here is a dependency. Then we are using here a MySQL workbench and MySQL database. So we have to also download the MySQL connector J. This link also will be provided in the description. From that you can copy this dependency, and also I am using here a Lombok. If you want to use, you can use, otherwise you can leave that. So these three dependency I am using. So the link of this sites will be given in the description. From there you can take. So expand this named SQL queries, go to the pom.xml. I have already copied this dependency. So let me go and let me copy and paste in the pom.xml. So these are the three dependency we will require. So go to the pom.xml, and below JUnit dependency we have to paste that. Control Shift F for formatting this, and let's save this. So here we can see Hibernate core, Lombok, and MySQL connector J, right? This is. Now here also the next thing we will require is a Maven compiler plugin we have to add. So here this is the site, you can go and you have to copy this in the properties, whatever this is written, we have to copy that, and we have to go to the here, and in the properties below the project we have to write that, and I will be using here 1.9 version. So 1.9, let's save this. Control Shift F for formatting. So this is done. Pom.xml. First we have to take this dependency Hibernate core, Lombok, and MySQL, and also we have to add the Maven compiler plugin. So this is about the dependencies, right? Now next thing we have to create the entity, right? So in the entity what you have to take, ID, then name, salary, and department. So let's go to the Eclipse ID, and in the SLC main Java, right click on this com.test, and after right clicking it will show some options. So go to the new, go to the package. Here we have to create a com.test.entity entity package. In the com.entity, right click on this, go to the new, go to the class, and here we have to write employee entity name, right? Click on enter. So the employee entity will be created. Yeah. Next thing, we have to write the variables. So here I will take private integer id, private string name, private string department, and private double salary, right? Now here we have to take @entity annotation, @entity. It will take some time. Yes, javax.persistence.entity we have to take. Now we have to create a getter and setter. So @data I will use because we have added long box. So @all args constructor. Let me take all args, no args, cancel, no args constructor. Control Shift O for importing this. Now this id we have to take as a primary key. So @id annotation, @id. So this double spelling double double. So this we have to take as a primary key. So Control Shift O for importing javax.persistence.id, and we have to auto generate this value, auto generated, and strategy equals to identity. Generated value strategy equals to identity. And this table you want to take what your table name you can give. I will give here a emp tab tab. So this is done. Now also we have to create here a constructor. So we have to alt control S. We have to write control alt S. No, this is shortcut. So we have to right click and source alt shift S we have to press. So in that, what you have to do, constructor, generate constructor using the fields, and we have to uncheck this id, and with the name, department, and salary we have to write. So what happened? Okay, entity is done. Now next thing what you have to do, let us see. So id, name, salary, and department. Then we have to write the Hibernate util. So go to here and right click on this package, go to the new, go to the package. Here we have to get com.test.util. In that, right click on this, go to the new, go to the class. Here we will create Hibernate util class. Here I will create one static session factory variable. Then Control Shift O for importing session factory, was not Hibernate session factory. Here we'll take a static block. In that static block, configuration cfg equals to new configuration. Control Shift O for importing configuration, version Hibernate cfg.configure. Next cfg dot. So next thing, here we will be not using the hibernate.configuration.xml file. So to give the database related JDBC URL, username, password, show SQL format, SQL HVM to DDL auto properties, we will not use here hibernate.configuration.xml file. Instead of that, we can use these properties. So this class environment. So let's see about what is this environment. Control Shift T we have to press, and here I will type environment. So here we can see environment. Click on open. So what is here given? Let us read the comment. So it provides access to the configuration information passed in the properties object. So it is similar to hibernate.cfg.configuration. XML file we create generally, hibernate.configuration configuration.xml. Instead of that, you can use this property environment. So it provides access to the configuration information passed in the properties object. So I have already created this. So let me copy this. Go to the Eclipse ID and in the Hibernate util, below configuration I have to paste. So first of all, Control Shift O for importing java.util.properties. So in the properties, we can use this environment.url, environment.user, password, show SQL, format SQL, hbm to detail.auto. So let's understand. So this is a URL for JDBC URL for the MySQL. JDBC MySQL localhost 3306/new. New is a schema name. I have already created one schema in the MySQL workbench. You can also create that. So you can see new schema. You can go here and you can create a schema. Right. So I have created a schema. That name here I have given here. Then username of your database, I have root username, password root, show SQL. So if you want to see whatever the SQL queries are executed by the Hibernate, then you can give here show SQL. It is not mandatory. Then next we have format SQL as a true I am taking because I want to see the queries in the format in madam. hbm to detail.auto, here update. Update means if the table is already present, if any column is not present, then Hibernate will alter that table. It will not create a new table, right? So here I am using update. If the table is not present, then Hibernate will create the table. So here no table is present. So in that case, Hibernate will create the table. Now we have to write cfg.set. What is the method name? Set properties. Set properties, and we have to pass the properties of the cfg.add annotated class. So we are using here annotated class. So employee.class. So I think these are the two we have to give. Now we have to take here a factory. So factory equal to cfg.open session factory, build session factory. We have to build session factory. Now we will create here one method, public static, and which will be returning the session factory object. So public static session factory get session factory, and we'll return here a factory. Control Shift O. Also the same we'll create method for Control Alt down. We have to take here for the session. So here I will take get session factory.open session. Control Shift O import org.hibernate.session. Click on OK. Next. So this is done. Hibernate util. Now next operation we'll do is we'll save some employees in the table. So in the com.test in the app, we have to go to the app, and here I will take here session factory equals to Hibernate util dot get session factory session equals to Hibernate util dot get session. Control Shift O for importing session and session factory. We'll use a try with resources. So here I didn't update the project, so that's why it is coming 1.5 version. So if I update here, we will get 1.9 version. So we have to go to the Maven and go to the update project, and we have to update the project. So after updating here, we can use try with resources. So factory comma session, catch exception e, if any exception is there, e dot print stack trace will print. So these are the some object, employee object we have. Here we have to give the what is the order of this name, department and salary. So I will take this department at the last. Let's save this. This is saved. Now the error is gone. I think gone. So these are the object we have. So here session dot begin transaction, and we can use session dot save method e1 controller down. We have to take employee e2 also saves 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 session dot get transaction dot commit. Now we will run this application. So after that, what will happen? The first of all, it will see Hibernate will see whether table is present or not. No, not present. So it will create that table with the primary key employee ID according to this entity. Now after that, the employees will be saved according to this name, salary, and department. So let's save this. Let's press Ctrl F11. Run as a Java application. Click on OK. It is running. Our application is running. So you can see create table queries is executing. Now insert operation. The insert query will be here 10 times because we are inserting 10 records. So now earlier there was no table. Now if I refresh here, in the tables you can see that emp tag. If I click on this, the records will be seen here. Here we go, 1 to 10 records are coming. So now we created the table, also we have saved the data. Now it's time to test the queries. So what we'll do, com.test, right click on this package, go to the new, go to the class. Here we'll create one class named test, right? Test is created. So in that we'll create a main method main control space enter. Now let me copy this whatever stuff, this session factory and session, and try with resources. Enter. We have to also catch if an exception e equals to e dot print stack trace, right? So I have to write if you want all the records of employee, we write select star from emp tab, that is the table name. So in this we can use native query 1 equals to here session dot create name native query, and here we have to pass in the upper letters I will pass select star from and emp tab. Control Shift O for importing native query. So here in the SQL what we do, we take a entity name, but here this is a native query. So according to in the SQL prompt, whatever you write, that query we have to write. So now let's fetch the data. So here we have to write list of object of arrays list 1 equals to query 1 dot get result list. Now Control Shift O for importing list java.util dot list. So list 1 dot for each emp I will take here list dot for each list 1 for object obj of emp, we will take here emp system dot out dot print obj enter space, will take here obj, and after this for loop system dot out dot println. So let us see what we'll get. We should get all the records. So let me do Control F11, run as a Java application, click on OK. and here we go. 1, Sam, John, Randy, Brock, Angela, Carla, Raja, Rani, Ram, Sandy. So this is the way we can execute the native query in the Hibernate. First we have to create a object, native query object, and we have to write here a native SQL query. Then we have to take the result by using this method called getResultList. After that we can print the result. And here one important note is here, result of the entity query is not mapped with the entity class. So we get the each as a object class, that is object array. So in the case of SQL, what we did, at the place of object array we take the employee. So whatever the columns are there, that will be mapped with the employee. But here the result of entity query is not mapped with the entity class, so we get each as the object class. So we have to take care of object array, list of object array, right? Now next example we will see how to map entity query result with the entity class. So here we are using object array, but if we don't want to use this object array, instead of that we can also map the entity query result with the entity class. So let us see. So what I will do, this is the same, you have to write select star, paste here. Now I will take here a query 2. Where is query 2? And here you have to write query 2 dot add entity, and we have to write employee dot class. Now after that what you have to do, list of employee list 2 equals to query 2 dot get result list, get result list, right? And we can do that list to do dot for each system dot out colon println. Let's save this. Now here we can see we have added add entity employee dot class. So we can map the entity query result with the entity class by using this. Now let us see what we'll get. Between these two results, what I will do is I will system dot out dot println, I will write dash dash dash. Now let's save this, control F11. Let us see the result. So you can see employee object, here you can see employee object is coming. Earlier was object array and we are printing that object. Now employee objects are coming. So this is a way we can map the entity query result with the entity class. So the next example we'll see for the 2 columns. So this is the example, select id comma salary from the employee tab where salary is between these 2. So here what we'll do, we have to create a native query object, copy this, paste here, and this query we have to write. So select id comma salary. So let me copy this, and in between this we have to paste here, and I will give here a query 3, name of the query. Now here what happened? Now next thing what you have to do is we have to map the scalar query result with the Hibernate data types. So this result we have to map with the Hibernate data types. So here we have query 3 dot add scalar this, and we have to type id, control alt down. Same here for the salary, right? So here data types will be standard, control space standard yes, basic type as integer, yes, and salary is our double, so Hibernate data type, let us see, character double is here. So we have to map the scalar query result with the Hibernate data type. So whatever the result, we have to map with the Hibernate data types. So by using this method, add scalar. Now next thing is set the query param values. So we have to set the param values. So here query 3 dot set parameter position 1, and I will take here value as 5000. let's say, let me see the range. What is the range we have given? 5000, 6000, 7000. So let me take the 5000, as it is a double, you have to take 0.0, control alt down, and at the place 2 we will take 6000. Let's save this. So this is the same like JDBC style query parameters. So what is the position of first? So the first, this will go to the first position, and the second, this 6000 will go to the second position, right? So this is about the positional parameters. Now we have to execute this query. The result will be same like that in the object array. So let me copy this instead of writing again, paste here. So list, this is a third query, query third dot get result list. This is employee object. So let us see, control F11, it should execute. Yeah, what happened here? BA query. Oh, here we have to take list 3 dot for each, control F11. Now only ID and salary should be printed on this. Yes, we can see that in the 5000 and 6000, whatever the employees are there, their ID, only ID and salary is coming. You can see that 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 10. So in between 5000 and 6000, whatever the employees are there, their information is printing here, right? Now we will see scalar query for getting single column. So I want only the employee ID from the employee tab, and where salary, here we have to give the condition. So let's see what the first step is. We have to create this native query. So I will take native query 4 equals to session dot create native query, and this select ID from employee tab where salary should be greater than any condition you can give, and here I am using JPS style positional parameter. This is a query 4. Next thing, we have to add the map scalar query result with Hibernate data type. So ID, what is the data type? Integer. So I will copy this, whatever we have written earlier. So let me copy this, paste here, query 4 dot add scalar, this ID we have to map with the Hibernate data type. Next, set the query param values. So query 4 dot set parameter, position is 1, and I want 5000. No, I will take here a 6000. So what whatever employees are there, and their whatever employees which is having the salary greater than 6000, their ID we want to print. Now we have to execute. So list of integer it will give, as this is only one column, so we'll get list of integer. So we have to take here a list of integer equal to query 4 dot get result list. Now print this. So here list of 4. So list 4 dot for each system dot out colon print ln. So it should print. So let's save this, control F11. So here we go, 2 3 5 6 8 9. So if I go here, to salary should be greater than equal to 6000, yeah. Then 3 salary 7, 4 is not printed because salary is 5000, which is smaller than 6000. So if I go to the Eclipse ID, 5 is there. I think this was 4. Yes, 4 salary is 5000 and fifth one is 6000. So 4 is not printed. Also 7 is not printed and 10 is also not printed. 7 and 10 are not there because their salary is less than 6000. So we only want ID of the employee which is having salary greater than 6000. So this is a scalar query for getting single column values. Now we will see native SQL query native SQL entity query with the named parameter. So earlier we have seen the positional parameter. Now by using name parameters, how can we do that? So we will take here a native query 5 equals to session dot create a native SQL query. Here we have to give this copy this, paste inside this. So query 5, yes, what happened? Why we are getting the error? Let me see. Multiple marker at lines. Native query is a raw type. Select star from employee tab. Session.array. Here we take named query. Create native query. Now the error will be gone. Now map the entity query result with the entity class. So as we are selecting all the columns, so query 5 dot add entity employee dot class. So we have mapped that. Yes, class. Now set the query param. So query 5 dot set parameter. Here I will take this. These are the name parameters. So we have to take salary range. Salary range between 5000. Control Alt down, and next parameter is ID range. ID range, I will take here a 5. So we want to select the employee which is having ID greater than 5 and also their salary should be greater than 5000. I will take here set suppose 6000. So we want the employee which is having the ID greater than 5 and also their salary should be greater than 6000. There are two conditions. Now execute query. So we'll get list of employee. List 5 equals to query 5 dot get result list. Now print list 5 dot for each system dot out colon print ln. Let's save this. This is done. Control F11. So what we will get, let us see. Here you can see 5, 6, 8, 9 in there and their salary is greater than equal to 6000. So 7 is not there because 7 employee salary is 5000. So it will be not printed. So the ID of employee should be greater than 5 and also their salary should be greater than 6000. So according to that, we are getting the result, right? Now next we'll see here our update query. So how can we update the record? So here we have to take native query. So let me take native query, paste here, query 6 I will take. Now session dot create native query and in that I will write here update query. So if you want to update the salary of employee which is having the specific ID, we know that employee. Now this is a non-select query, so we have to create here, we have to write here session dot begin transaction and at the rate session dot get transaction dot commit. So without this transaction environment we can't execute this query. So query 6 is done, update. Now which employee you want to update? So here in the employee table, this third number Randy, I want to update his salary to the 8,000. So earlier it was 7, now I want to take as a 8,000. So query 6 dot set parameter, no, set property is not there, set parameter, position 1, what salary we want to take as 8,000. Now query 6 dot set parameter 2 and ID I want to take as a third. Now this is a non-select query, right? So it will use execute update and its return type is integer, that is the number of records affected. Count equals to query 6 dot execute update, print the records updated, sys out number of records updated is count, count. So how much we should get, as there is only one employee salary we are updating, so we should get only one as a count. Let's save this, control F11. What happened? Transaction not successfully started. The transaction is not started. Cancel. What happened? Session dot begin transaction. Transaction begin, and after that, yes, now I return twice this commit, so that's why we are getting. Now let's control F11. Here we go, record updated and update query, you can see that. Now if I go to the MySQL and if I refresh here we go, third Dave Randy and its salary is 8,000. So also we can do update operation here by using this native query. Now next we'll see for the delete. So this is the same in the transaction, control alt down. Now query 7th one. Now what I will do, delete, delete from emp tab, where id, where I will take here where id greater than equals to. Now set query param. So I want to delete the which is employee which is having the employee id which is greater than equal to 8. So how many is there? 3. That is employee id with 8, 9 and 10. So we should get the count as a 3. So count equal to query 7 dot execute update and number of records updated. Let's save this, control F11. We should get 3. What happened? Control F11. What happened? Error exists, cancel. So here we have to take count 1 because earlier we have used this variable. Let's save this, control F11. What happened? Ordinal parameter not bound. Okay, here we have to take query 7, control F11. Yes, number of records affected. Here by mistake I have written updated, affected 3. So 8, 9, 10 records should be deleted. So before refreshing you can see that 8, 9, 10 are there. So if I refresh, here we go, 8, 9, 10 are not there, only 1 to 7 are there. Also we can perform delete. We have seen update, how to update. Also for the native query for with the name parameters with the single column values, if you want single column values we can also do that. Next the scalar query for the 2 columns, then how to fetch all the records, that is all columns, and how to map entity query result with the entity class. We have seen that. So now we will see how can we insert the data into the table using this native query. So first we have to write session.begin transaction, then insert into emp tab department name and salary. I am now taking here employee ID, as we have taken the employee ID as the primary key. The value should be at this is generated, auto generated, that is auto incremented. So I am not taking that. So we have to take only these 3 columns. Now I want to add the department name as QA and name as Sean, and salary should be 7,000. Also we have to use the execute update in order to execute this query, and we'll get here number of records affected, inserted. Let's save this, Control F11. This QA Sean 7000 should be saved into the database. So let's see the database. It is executing, still executing. So this is our database. Go to the Eclipse. It is launching this test. So before that, you can see that in the database, this 11 dev can I have already added, so that's why it's came here 11. Now after adding that, the 11 next value will be 12, so 12th row will be came here. So it is executing, yes, number of record inserted 1. This is the query insert emp tab, right? Now we should get here a 12th record, this, yes, 12th QA Sean and 7,000, right? So we are able to insert the data into the table. So this is about this native query. We have seen these examples. So this name-based SQL queries. So these are used when if it is not possible to write you for the SQL queries, or you want to see the database software dependent, you know only SQL, that is database software dependent, then you can use this name SQL query. So you will find the link of the code in the description. If you want to practice, you can practice from there. So if you like this video, you can hit like button and subscribe to our channel.